One topic during this whole post-election wrap-up that everyone's been doing that I don't think has got much attention, um, which is a shame because back in 2010 I would have counted myself a supporter of theirs, is the future of the Liberal Democrats. We've focused, and to some extent quite rightly, on Labour because they are the official opposition. They've been completely decimated. Um, it's been an absolute shit show from Labour for a number of reasons, which we'll get into in another video. But the Liberal Democrats basically doubled down on the Brexit position. They doubled down on Remain. They went full revoke on Remain if they got a majority. They were talking about Ruth Davidson becoming the next Prime Minister. Which, okay, you're running in almost every seat in the country. You want, ideally, to get a majority. But the thing is, it doesn't look particularly realistic. And then when you're excluded from debates, you cry sexist. Because you have a woman leader and the two people in the debates are men. Not even beginning to think for a second that it could be because the actual two choices for Prime Minister are likely to be Corbyn and Johnson. And the Liberal Democrats are such a distant third and keep tumbling and tumbling and tumbling in the polls that actually it's not a sexist reason. It's because the country is sick and tired of having overcrowded debates full of people that aren't even going to get anywhere near power. Does anybody remember the absolute farce that was the 2015 debate, or even the 2017 debate, when you had 7 candidates on that stage, and it was just, it was a mess, a complete mess. No one wants that. No one wants to see that. I am a big proponent, by the way, of TV debates. I think they're great, but I think we need an American-style system where it's an independent body that officiates them, and you have to participate in them if you're asked to. And you can't just send a representative. You have to actually go yourself. But also, yeah, the Liberal Democrats, I think, ran their campaign appallingly. The revoke Article 50 policy, I think, scared off even a lot of Remainers. I'm friends with plenty of people who want Brexit stopped. And most of them said to me that the idea of unilateral revoke just didn't sit right with them. They would rather go through another referendum process. And I think the Lib Dems just completely missed the ball completely. But where does the Liberal Democrats go from here? I mean, they essentially mortgaged the house on remaining in the European Union, and they've lost. Because we're leaving now. I think that's without a doubt, we're leaving now. So what happens post-Brexit to the Lib Dems? They've essentially set themselves up as opposition UKIP, opposition Brexit party, and they've got very little left. I wonder if they will tack back to the party of Kennedy, Charles Kennedy. That would be great. I would like to see that. That's actually, even for me, a party I could possibly vote for. Democratic with a big D, liberal with a big L, but not overly identitarian, not overly, I hate to use this term, but I think people know what I'm getting at, snowflakey. We need an old-fashioned Lib Dem party back. It's missing. We need a party that's going to represent some alternative views. We need a party that's going to represent some common sense views ignored by most in the political sphere. We actually possibly even need, if someone like Rebecca Long-Bailey wins the Labour leadership contest, we need a decent centrist party that people from all walks of life can actually vote for, rather than just a centrist party that appeals to London. and a few other big cities. I think Jo Swinson losing her seat was possibly the best thing that could have happened to the Lib Dems, because if she'd stayed on, they would have tanked even further. What I worry about is all this talk of Daisy Cooper. I heard an interview with her on Cross Question on LBC on Sunday, and she sounds like a slightly better spoken, slightly more rational version of Jo Swinson. And I think the country has shown quite clearly that they don't want Jo Swinson. Very heavily motivated by identity politics, very heavily still pushing for Remain, even though the process is done now. It's gonna happen whether you like it or not. It's happening at this point. Um, I, I would love to know who the big brains are in the Lib Dems right now and where they're thinking of going post Brexit. Because surely they know it's happening. Surely they know they're not stopping it. Are they going to become a fringe party like UKIP were? Are they going to talk about rejoining the European Union and adopting the euro and joining Schengen, which no one really wants. No one wants that. Even those who voted Remain in 2016, I would say quite a large majority of those don't want that. So are they going to relegate themselves to fringe politics, or are they actually going to turn around and say, okay, we've lost this fight, let's move on and actually campaign for some genuine, interesting policies? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But I think the media needs to cover the Lib Dems a bit more. I worry that losing our main third party in politics nationally will polarise the debate in this country even further. And that's not to say, by the way, that the Liberal Democrats have done much to help stop the polarisation of the discussion in this country, because they've, if anything, amplified it. But it would be nice if we got a sensible centrist party back again. And I'm not talking about centrist in the sense of Blairism necessarily. I'm talking about an actual centre ground party. I think we need that. Not to say it's something I would necessarily vote for, but I think we need it in our discourse.